Now, Western Australian Senator Dorinda Cox, who was elected as a member of the Greens not too long ago, has made a shock defection to the Labor Party, making this announcement alongside the Prime Minister just yesterday.
Today I'm resigning from the Australian Greens to join the Labor Party, to sit as a Labor Senator as part of the Albanese government. It is not a decision I've taken lightly.
Now, this is a Member of Parliament who was hit with workplace misconduct and bullying allegations back in October last year, with 20 of her staff reportedly quitting their jobs in a period of about 3 years. But I've got to ask you, Dan, put aside the personalities here. She was elected as a Greens member. People voted for the Greens and she was there to represent them. Is it okay for her to be defecting within a matter of weeks? Or should she be standing down and the Greens select someone else to represent them?
Yeah, I think so, Rita. I think Australians are pretty sick and tired of this. I haven't looked at what her personal vote was, how many below-the-line votes she got in the Senate, but I can't imagine it was enough, anywhere near enough to get her own quota to get in. So you're right that she was elected as a Greens member, not as a member of the Labor Party. And to do this so soon after the election, I think suggests that perhaps something was in play beforehand. I don't know, but it seems that it's unlikely that this kind of transition will take place in such a short space of time. The other point that I would make, I watched Anthony Albanese's press conference today in Perth, and it was interesting in revealing what he said. He said that if you're serious about social change in Australia, then you need to support the Labor Party. Now, what this suggests to me to mean is that Labor's social values are the social values of the Greens. They're the social values of treaty, of truth-telling, of reparations payments. I believe that they will proceed with a voice to Parliament, as Penny Wong said they would do, prior to the last federal election. And I think it's time for Labor just to be honest with the Australian people and have a formal coalition agreement with the Greens. If they're just going to adopt Greens members as a part of their party, then they should do it in an open and transparent manner.
Well, they're in a coalition with the Greens, let's be honest. The Greens and Labor depend on each other, and Labor wouldn't be where they are without the Greens' support. So whether it's an official coalition agreement as the Libs and Nats have, or an unofficial one like Labor and Greens, it works pretty much in the same way. Now, let's talk about Victoria. Former Premier Jeff Kennett has made another, some would say, desperate attempt to try to save John Pesutto, the former opposition leader. He penned a letter to the Victorian Liberal Party's Administrative Committee begging them to pay the entire $2.3 million debt that Mr Pesutto now owes Liberal MP Moira Deeming. If he doesn't come across with this money, if he doesn't find it somewhere, Dan, he faces bankruptcy, which means he will step down from Parliament. Jeff Kennett argues not supporting the Pesutto family now denies the fundamental values the party was founded upon. It is wrong to ask him to foot the bills, to bankrupt him and his family, wrong to ask him to borrow money from the capital funds we might have at our disposal. I implore you to act decisively. We must put the issue to bed quickly. Remember, money can always be replaced. A change of government cannot. I've got a lot of thoughts on this one, Dad, but I'm interested in yours. My first thought, though, is, has Jeff forgotten who the victim here is? It's Moira Deeming. It is not John Pesutto.
Yeah, look, I mean, I have a lot of respect for Jeff Kennett and everything he's done for Victoria, but I'm not sure this is quite the right way to go. Moira Deeming is entitled to seek compensation as per the court order. She's well within her rights to do that. And also the Liberal Party was founded on the value of freedom of speech, which is what Moira was exercising. And she was really the victim of what happened to her and went through that legal process. So, this has been a disaster for the Victorian Liberal Party from the very beginning. And I think it really shows what happens when, firstly, you lose sight of what your values are. And secondly, when you become intimidated by your political opponents. It was very clear from the court documents that one of the reasons why the decision was taken to go after Moira Deeming was because of concerns that Daniel Andrews was going to exploit it for political purposes, as of course he would, being a very effective political operator. Yeah. But look what's happened now. I mean, this all happened because they didn't stand up to Daniel Andrews and the Labor government. So look, they just need to draw a line under this and try to get clean air as they head to the next election in November of next year.
They showed such poor political judgment in this case. It was actually an opportunity for them to lay a glove on Dan Andrews. And that's fairly rare during Dan Andrews' political career, that the Libs would hurt him in any way. But they had an opportunity there because this is an 80-20 issue. And they decided to side with the 20% along with Labor and the Greens. Just idiotic in the extreme. I want to ask you about former Australian of the Year, Grace Tame. She's come under fire for her anti-Israel social media content, which has now put her partnership with Nike at risk. The mega sports brand has said via a spokeswoman, Nike does not stand for any form of discrimination, including anti-Semitism. We take this matter very seriously and are in touch with Grace's team to understand the matter further. Now, The Australian has done some great reports on this story. They reported that Tame reposted a statement from Palestinian writer Mohammed El-Kurd in which he appeared to condone the murder of 2 Israeli embassy officials in Washington and angrily attacked journalists who reported that the slayings were an act of anti-Semitism. Yes, the former Australian of the Year's endorsement of El-Kurd and the message he published last week is deeply troubling. He wrote, the media class is scrambling to reframe the shooting that targeted 2 Israeli state officials as a random anti-Semitic attack. Tame reposted this to her 260,000 followers, even though it was undeniably, and by the alleged shooter's own admission, a response to the ongoing Israeli assault on Gaza, which killed 107 Palestinians in the last 24 hours alone. Dan, it's astonishing to me that she would endorse, share this in any way, back a position that is so extreme.
Yeah, well, the first thing is good on Nike for doing this. I mean, quite often we rightly call out big businesses for dividing us and doing the wrong thing. Well, Nike is at least, standing up and is asking for an explanation from Grace Tame, and that's the right thing for them to do. I think it's a shame for Grace Tame because she has rightly been acknowledged for the work that she's done in advocating for and raising the profile of victims of domestic violence and abuse, and that's a very important cause. But for her to go down the road of political activism, I think has really let down the important work that she did. Of course, she famously wore the F Murdoch T-shirt when she was meeting with the Prime Minister some time ago and has a history of political activism. Now, if she wants to do that, that's up to her. I mean, it's entirely up to Grace Tame if she wants to go down that road. But I don't think you can at one time be an advocate for a very important cause and at the same time also see yourself as a political advocate for what are very divisive cultural issues as well.
Yes, indeed. And I think as Australian of the Year, she's not in that role anymore. But I think you have to be apolitical. You have to be a unifying figure. You can't be a divisive activist. And we've too often given that honour to divisive activists. It started well before Grace Tame. Dan Wild, thank you so much for your time tonight.